to take flight with Audio Airstrike.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Everett Hall-McNeill. This is Audio Airstrike. Thank you for joining us. Of course, I got my co-host with me, Jacob Cooperman.
Co-host
and
now.
we're going to get it right to, temporary. Still temporary.
Damn it.
Still temporary.
Damn it.
Still
I
temporary.
thought I had hope for a
Prefaces
second.
by saying.
I had hope for a second.
We're going to see how this goes and go from there. But anyway, I wanted to get in touch with you, man, because I think that we need to talk about galaxy gas. Now, for those of you who do not know what that is, we're going to explain that to you. I would take the time out to explain that to you. So basically, this is what I've looked up, right? So galaxy gas is a form of the whippets. It is something that kids today, not everybody, but kids today have found this deadly trend to huff and sniff up gas. And actually, galaxy gas is the name of an Atlanta company that uses that nitrous oxide to basically be a food processing repellent for food.
It's a loophole in the legal system. I'll get more into it later. But yeah, you're absolutely on the right trail.
Yeah, and so huffing that or having the whippets of that, and if you inhale that, it causes a certain level of euphoria and a certain level of high. However, this can lead to several health issues, a lot of health issues if you keep on doing that. There's a host of problems with this. And also the Atlanta company that is having galaxy gas they use that for food processing repellent. They have made it clear and put disclaimers on this that you are only supposed to use this for those uses, not using it for recreational purposes. Hey, they have to protect themselves as a company.
We'll get to that.
They have to protect themselves as a company.
Because you know what? You know why I'm here? I'm the eyes on the young streets.
Okay.
And the young streets are saying that these guys are using that as a shell company and using a legal loophole because they can say that they can use it for food processing when in reality, I mean, okay, let me just put it like this. I'm not calling you out, but think about this for a second. What nitrous oxide can do you know that has flavors on it? You think about that for a second? These guys have flavors. Galaxy gas. So I guess there's like marshmallow. It's like probably vape flavors. Same thing as vape flavors. They use a loophole saying that you can use it. I think it's for whipped cream or for, a nitro cold brew coffee. I mean, that's what at least the guy in the commercial says. They use it as a legal loophole so that they can sell nitrous oxide whippet cans flavored, and they can get kids and pretty much everyone. I mean, and I'll get into this later in the podcast, but I went to college with a girl. It's really sad, who was addicted to whippets. Like, would chief whippets like there was no tomorrow. And she was like pulling out pieces of her hair. Because I'm sure you know, Ev, at this point, it destroys parts of your brain. Particles. Like it takes out pieces of your brain. That's why it's like, if you're going to do any drug, like whatever, fine. I don't really do that stuff. I'm not like a square, but I just, like, I'll smoke every once in a while, or I'll have a drink every once in a while. That is, I think, like the most, how do I say, the drug with the least amount of ROI on it, return on investment. Because you get high for like 15 minutes and you're literally destroying your brain.
I look at it like I remember when huffing, where people were literally taking, I don't know, Lysol cans, any type of can they could do. They were taking any type of can they could find that could get them.
Lysol is crazy.
This was like back when I was coming up. I was like,
Jesus.
or other stuff of that nature, or even like taking like any type of can, and they were taking that and huffing it with it just to get the high or the euphoria brief at that moment for whatever reason.
It also messes up your voice too.
Right. That's another thing. I'm not taking anything that is literally taking pieces out of my brain. I'm not doing that.
It's a no-brainer.
Right. Pun intended.
Yeah.
But my thing is this, right? I don't think people should be following these trends. It wasn't too long ago we had the little Tide Pod stuff where people were eating them as a challenge.
Yeah, that's like that. I think, see, that to me is a different level of dumb than this. Because, like, at least people know that the stuff probably isn't good for you. I feel like people know that.
But the galaxy gas, though, like...
Yeah.
Because now I look at it like this way. whether the company is being truthful
not
or
actually.
not about the disclaimer, the fact that they have to put the disclaimer is telling you that people are using this
it. And you know what?
for recreational use when they shouldn't be.
Yeah, I will walk back that statement because I just realized too that while it is, I think eating Tide is way dumber than huffing Galaxy gas because Tide, there's not even a high that you can get from it. It just looks like you have like it's like a baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that looks like a thing that's neon orange and blue. Let me try and eat it because it looks colorful.
Right.
That's what a baby does.
Right.
Huffing Galaxy gas, again, this is not me condoning it, but I think it's less dumb because people probably just don't realize or are looking past the negative byproducts because there is that positive of that 15-minute high. You don't get a 15-minute high from eating laundry detergent. You just get deathly ill. So, I mean, yeah. But up there with some of the stupidest stuff people have done in my generation.
And that's the thing. I see this new deadly trend and I'm like, why is this trending? What is going on? And I'm going to be honest with you. This gets into another thing. This is what happens when you market stuff to a younger generation and they think it's cool. Oh, we're going to call it something that is catchy. We're going to put a whole bunch of chemicals into it that, truth be told, we don't need to put that in there. And then we're not going to say, hey, kids, do this or create a whippet out of this. We're just going to say, hey, we're going to put this disclaimer like, hey, you cannot use this for recreational use this way. Knowing daggone well that a kid is going to get curious using it that way.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, I just sometimes I do think though that it really is like I want to say that my generation is cooked for stuff like this, right? And I've seen it's sad. I've seen videos. I guess it would be the generation below me, but I've seen videos of kids doing this in class and like hitting the floor and hitting the wall because they can't stand up straight. You know, they just huffed gas and they're probably on their 6th canister of the day. But I feel like, you know, all this stuff, like every generation has had their Galaxy gas. Like you talk about the branding, right? And saying you're not supposed to use this but if you want to talk about branding, I mean, there was cigarettes. Remember when, I don't know if you're that old, but they were like marketing cigarettes as a good thing. The general surgeon was like, yeah, dude, you smoke a cigarette a day or like a pack a day and it keeps the doctors away. And then,
I mean, that's what they were passing down to soldiers to kind of take the ease off. I mean, you're dealing with so much trauma back then with World War, and all these different wars that were happening and going to Iraq and stuff like that. Smoking became a recreational way to calm down stress.
to combat PTSD.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't condone. I ain't gonna say I condone like I'm judging it, but I don't really do recreational weed like that.
Yeah.
But I had rather you do that than to do smoking cigarettes or using Galaxy gas to have the whippets. I just, that's at least weed that's natural. At least it's way safer. Than these alternatives here.
Yeah. I mean, listen. Also, the thing, and I just realized what the version of that for our generation is vaping.
Right.
Like everyone will tell you that vaping is way better than cigarettes and maybe, but I just can't honestly imagine stuff not or negative byproducts of huffing in electronic flavored gas not coming up to bear fruit. And when I'm my generation's all in our 50s. So it's like, yeah, dude, to your point, everyone's gonna, there's few things out there, even weed, I guess you could say, the smoke inhalation. I've heard some smokers' coughs from my friends that smoked weed. And it sounded like they were literally hacking up a lung. So all this stuff is negative, but I think the biggest thing is that Galaxy gas is being branded in a certain way where it doesn't feel negative, and it almost has the most negative byproduct out of all recreational drugs. Now, you also, I don't know what people consider to be recreational drugs. The last time I heard it was coke, weed, LSD.
Coke is not recreational.
I think coke is recreational nowadays. Yeah.
The hell?
Really? I know. So let's put it this way: I know someone who could probably get me coke, and I don't hang out with any drug dealer friends. Maybe I know someone who knows someone. Let's just say there's 2 separations or 2 degrees of separation.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Anything. So here, my definition of a recreational drug.
Yeah.
Is something that is natural that does not full-blown turn you into a junkie.
Oh.
Natural weed, I look at that as a recreational drug that is safe enough that if not laced with anything, I deem that a recreational drug.
I mean, yeah, for the sake of the pod, my definition, and I disagree. I think it's recreational drugs are stuff. I guess I'm going off of more the societal definition, at least the way my generation talks about it, is stuff that you can't get really stuck on. Like, again, it's more of a stigmatic thing. So, like,
you
heroin.
You get stuck on coke.
Heroin, meth. Let me get to my point.
Oh, sorry.
Here you go. Let me land this plane real quick. Heroin, meth, definitely not considered recreational. K2, I don't think is considered recreational. Coke, I think the overall definition is stuff that you could find at a party. And right now, I've seen friends have showed me pictures of them doing a line, and I saw their eyes, their pupils, just dilate up to the size of like dinner plates in their eyes. So I'd consider it a recreational drug because it's on college campuses. You could find people who have it. I'm pretty sure bricks have been washing up on it. Well, it's Miami also, so like, what are we talking about? It's Miami. If it was washing up in New York, maybe that'd be a little bit different. But yeah, there's bricks of it washing up in Miami. You know, you can go to like party places. Usually Coke is there. The top executives, I guarantee, are doing Coke every day. That to me makes it more recreational to where like you could do Coke every day. You could get addicted, but I also think you could shake Coke in the same way that you could say like, I'm going to get off coffee for the foreseeable future. Maybe this comes back to bite me. I don't know.
Oh no, I've seen people turn to coke heads. It's not a pretty sight.
Oh, I've not known a couple coke heads. I was going to say I've known a couple coke heads. I can't say that I've ever met a coke head. But you think about a coke, this might get off the rails really quick. So if we need to hit the edit button, we hit the edit button. We think about a coke head versus a meth head. Coke heads might just need like coke to. Do I not have a point here? I'm trying to think, because to me there's a difference. I'm just having trouble verbalizing what the difference between a coke and a meth head. I think a coke head can be a guy that goes to a 9 to 5 and is again heavily dependent on the drug. I think once you're heavily dependent on meth, you're not going to a job. Like you know what I mean? I think
you're just stuck at that point.
Right, the vice grip. I think this is the difference for me. The vice grip that meth and heroin get you on when you're addicted, and these things like K2 get you on when you're addicted, is a lot more destructive and long-lasting than Coke. Does that make any sense?
I could get it to a degree. I kind of lump Coke and all that together.
Like, listen,
in my personal opinion, I just lump that all together.
I could see the conversation for Coke being in there with meth and crack.
Right. Yeah. I do feel like the Galaxy gas is a gateway to potentially that stuff. Because eventually, like, and the one thing that kind of frightens me is that all the documentaries that are out there, all of the shows that are out there, all of the informative videos that are out there about drug use and huffing or doing heroin, doing all these type of different things, and we still have people that somehow, some way, shape or form, bad upbringing, not raised properly, or just they were,
the crack.
You know what I mean? Or going through a painful situation, that this is the thing that they turned to, that they felt like was the best escape. I think at some point there really needs to be a conversation of, we have all this media at our fingertips of what to do and what not to do. And sometimes people are still falling into this trap. I think that's a bigger conversation, because now, first we sit over here talking about Galaxy Glass. How far is it going to go before, unfortunately, this generation are the next dope fiends, are the next cokeheads, are the next fiend. You know what I mean? A gas fiend or whatever.
See a crackhead, but imagine seeing a gas head.
It is sad to watch.
That's the thing though, is I don't even think that I understand what you mean by a gateway, but can you even consider it a gateway when like that? This isn't also an end of the line drug, which is part of what makes it so dangerous. Is it is recreational. You could find it a lot and commonly, but it's also like this stuff. It's not like, all right, let me get off of gas and let me go on to crack, and crack is worse because crack's bad. Gas, like we said, takes out parts of your brain. Like This is an end of the road drug if you're not careful. If you're huffing it too much, you just turn into a zombie.
I'm gonna be honest with you. All of those drugs, in my opinion, in some way, shape, or form, hurt your neurological.
Except for crackheads. I'm convinced crackheads have superpowers.
I don't know.
I'm not like, I've seen the videos online of crackheads, and maybe their minds are for sure gone, but like Florida crackhead alligator videos. You ever seen one of those?
Mm-mm.
I saw a video of a crackhead in Florida fighting an alligator on the side of the road. The alligator bit his leg, and the guy didn't freak out or anything. He was just like, like it looked like he was like upset or annoyed at the fact that an alligator had just bitten into his leg. He kicked it, the alligator let go, and he picked it up and threw it into the water, and just kept on walking.
And blood just dripping.
Yeah, crackhead.
God.
Well, it's a Florida crackhead too, so I don't know.
Different. Look, I mean, yeah, it's a different breed out here, man. Let me ask you this, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like, because you barely really don't touch anything,
nah,
if you do, if smoke weed maybe.
I've smoked weed 5 times in my life.
Okay,
and I'm 24
then you drink,
years old.
yeah, and you drink occasionally, maybe. It's
like,
very seldom.
Blue moon, yeah.
It's got to be a real special occasion to see you with a drink. Or it's got to be, yeah.
I'd say special occasion. Like if you said like, Jake, it's my birthday, I really want you to have one, then I'd have one. Besides that, probably not.
Okay, got you.
Like that type of event.
What do you think? Because I mentioned it earlier. What do you think is the cause of people, even younger, going towards stuff like galaxy gas, based on what you've seen?
Sorry. Okay. Well, I think it's a combination of a lot of different things. There's a big pervading sense of nihilism in my generation that kind of seeps through the cracks of the way we interact with each other and the way we see the world. I think another big one is peer pressure, is the social aspect. We're very quick to get caught up in a trend. And the younger generations, too, are quick to get caught up in a trend. I think you combine those two, right? Everyone's looking for something to make them feel good. And I think the difference that a healthy person has versus an unhealthy person is that the healthy person just has that. I mean, healthy ways to cope with stress. So whether it's working out, there are addictions that are healthy that don't get called out. And I think that huffing gas is just a byproduct of kind of the times that we're in, where a lot of people are sad, depressed, angry, whatever it is. Some kids are popular and don't want to lose their shine, their spark, so they'll just try it. Like, I mean, I feel like that's been every single drug. Like, galaxy gas is not different. It's not unique in terms of like how it's socially being spread, because we've had crack epidemics. We've had crack epidemics. Let me just say that again. Because we've had crack epidemics. We've had everything. I mean, upstate New York has had a bad one for a while now. It's the byproducts of the drug that are so quickly becoming bad,
Yeah, I definitely agree. I want to be very clear that the people who are actively doing this is not a podcast to shame you. This is not a podcast to to discard you. But the reason why I'm kind of like trying not to do that is because you guys need to get help. That is a very unhealthy way. Whatever y'all dealing with that's making y'all say, yo, I want to try this, even if it's just for fun.
Why can't we shame them?
I look at it like, because it's almost...
These kids are stupid.
Yeah, it's very stupid, but these kids know what they're getting into.
Yeah, so I think we should shame them.
I definitely get that. But also, for example, I could tell you, I'm going to just use this as an example. Yeah. We kid around with this before. I could tell you, yo, stop drinking Celsius.
Yeah, I keep drinking Celsius.
I could shame you as much as I want. You're going to still probably open up a can of Celsius within the next 24 to 48 hours. But if I say, hey, bro, I'm just looking out for you. I ain't coming to shame you or this and that. And I ain't coming to talk to you crazy. But you are on a healthy track. And I don't want you getting hooked up on sugar drinks to the point you need something where it may affect your heart.
Yeah.
You're going to take that way differently than if I say, "Hey, yo, man, will you stop messing with them doggone energy drinks? What the heck is wrong with you? Will
That's
you stop
true.
being a dick?"
Then you know what? Maybe
It's
there's
all about how you talk to people.
yeah. Maybe there's a different way to frame it. I think it's incredibly. If you're watching this and you by chance huff Galaxy gas, just imagine yourself in your 20s and you can't wipe your own ass when you go to the bathroom because you've already taken out a substantial amount of brain matter by huffing stuff that's, I mean, in a can. You're huffing gas that's not supposed to go in that way. Gas is supposed to come out, right? It's think about it like this. It's gas that makes your voice different. You think that's going to be healthy for you to inhale? Like, just think about it like that. And I think a lot of kids are just, they're thinking about the now, and it's like, you know what? You put up a good point, Ev. Like me with my Celsius. It feels good to drink Celsius right now. There's not a negative byproduct right now, so I'm going to keep drinking them. But albeit, while that's not a great thing to do, drinking Celsius, I cut back when I needed to, and I think Galaxy Gas is I don't think Galaxy Gas is an entirely different ball.
Oh yeah, I'm just using. Yeah.
No, I know, I don't spite you for bringing it up. It's a very good example, but yeah, I mean Galaxy Gas, like Celsius, if I can, pull it back now and nose up the plane, my heart will be fine when I'm 50. Right. Galaxy Gas, some of these kids, like they've been huffing, I don't know how many cans per day. Some of these kids might already be cooked, and the brain matter hasn't really, you know what I mean? Like it's not really.
And then on top of that, your brain really doesn't develop
until you're 25.
Until you're 25. So here you are, 20,
right.
19.
You're taking away vital stuff from yourself.
17, 16, doing this, and now you are destroying your own development and your own maturity level, and you are jeopardizing your future doing this stuff. So I would strongly suggest you guys to take into account what we're saying. We're bringing this up for a reason. We want everybody to have a chance to be successful, accomplish their dreams, do whatever they want to do. But whatever you're dealing with, because everybody's dealing with something, don't turn to hard drugs like this to escape the pain, because you are only affecting yourself.
Have a little weed if you're going to have something, because that just takes the edge off, and it's not like bad for you. You know what I mean? Like you could take 2-3 puffs and like you're good. I know a decent amount of people that smoke weed. I've never seen a fight break out between two people smoking weed ever. To be fair though, I mean we got to put two gas heads in a room together and just see what they do in there. I'm scared. The gas head championships. May not be enough energy to fight. Honestly. Yeah, I was gonna say they probably just pass out on the floor. But here's my thing. I'll say this: you will not, if your brain is not developed and it's not working by the time you're out of college. I mean, there's a glass ceiling on that. There's only a certain amount of jobs that you can do. Like most jobs require the job that we do, the job that bankers do, investment bankers or risk analysts or anyone. It involves a level of critical thinking. And if you're nuking your brain consistently with gas, then you kiss all those jobs goodbye. And like I obviously know, like no 13 or 14-year-old right now is like, I want to be a risk analyst. You know what I mean? Like nobody's saying that. Even like think about YouTube. If you're watching this and you want to be a YouTuber, you're not gonna be able to string sentences together. You're gonna be talking like this, and nobody's gonna want to watch your video. That's gonna be what happens. So I mean, think about it like that. Yep, absolutely. Just take that food for thought. Anyway, I want to switch gears here and talk about Andrew Schulz. And the Shits and Gigs podcast. So I'm going to be honest with you. I have listened to Andrew Schulz in the past. I remember being 26 years old and listening to him. I thought you were saying a joke. Like, I remember being 26 and thinking that guy was funny. That's funny. He has morphed into definitely a comedian with a large following. I'll say large. Oh, yeah. I've watched him go from an up-and-coming comic from New York to being able to sell out different, absolutely. Yeah. However, over time, and I did see the clip of Andrew making the jokes about black women and stuff like that.
anytime that there is friendships between African American people and Caucasian people, don't matter if you're Jewish or of European descent or anything like that, there are things that we need to be privy to of each other's culture. I don't mind certain jokes, but when it becomes joking about the fact that black men or black women are inherently dangerous, that is an issue.
Crosses a line. Well, and I will say this: I've had shout out to Claudia. She's my friend from back in college. She had to deal with that a lot, where it's like she goes, "Yeah, if I raise my voice and you raise your voice, Jake, it's not gonna be like you're gonna be considered passionate, and I'm gonna be considered like abrasive or rude or all these different things,
or angry,
right? Or angry or mean spirited, And so, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is, and we'll get into it. I think that there is a lot. There's this like culture, whether it's Fresh and Fit doing it or Fresh and Fit doing it, Shits and Gigs, Flagrant, the whole crew there, Andrew Schulz. There is a culture of like slam dunking on black women, which is really weird to see. Like, I don't know. And it's weird because I've seen a lot of it coming from guys like Fresh and Fit that I'm not sure about their ethnicity. But, guys that are like, we're not going to be night riders. We don't want to deal with it. So there is like such a weird pervasive culture now of putting down or demeaning black women. And it's been going on for a while now.
I'm going to be honest with you. You have a lot of people that subconsciously think when they see black women disrespected and the reaction that society has when a black woman is disrespected, subconsciously in their mind, they said, oh, I can get this off and tell this joke, or I can get this off and say
well,
this.
The sad thing is they can.
Yeah, and there isn't no blowback or repercussion.
Because nobody's checking for it.
Let them do that to an Indian woman, or I hate to say a Jewish woman. Oh, it's World War III.
I don't think they'd care if it was a Jewish woman.
Bruh.
Right now, maybe not. Because,
I'm telling you, it's different. But one thing I'm going to say is this. I heard...
I will say, it is a different level.
Yeah.
Okay? You're going to get more pushback with Jewish women.
You're going to get more pushback. Yeah. There's degrees of pushback.
Yes,
I hate to say this.
That's what I'm saying.
And I hate to say this. When people say black women are one of the most disrespected people in this country, I can't even, as an African-American male, been in this country and have seen it full blown. Yeah. Even my mother to a degree has been disrespected. I've seen it full blown. And I agree with that statement because how many times, it's one thing to joke about, she probably don't want to mess with people's food because she wants more seasoning in her food. That's something, we all can laugh at that because we all got different type of cultures of food. That's something we all can laugh at. When you start making jokes that is basically positioning black women as violent, mean-spirited,
less desirable,
enraged, that's a problem. Yeah. And my thing is this, right? When Andrew said what he said after the backlash, because you have African American males that are either have dated black women or married to one. I hope and wish that Charlemagne, who has been friends with Andrew for a while, I hope that Alex, who helped Andrew with his production.
Yeah. Well, I hope. Saying you're going to check him?
No. What I'm saying is that if you do something wrong, on camera, I'm not going to scold you.
But after, I'm saying check in
the way.
But
I'm going to pull you aside and be like, Jake,
I'm
going to pull a Jake. You know you really messed up saying this, that, and this. And you can never do that again because society is going to view that as this, and that.
Yeah, well, that's what in New York they call that checking.
Right. Yeah. So I get what you're saying, but I'm just breaking it down for people that don't know. I hope that either Alex or Charlemagne or somebody that's African American within Andrew Schulz camp.
You think they would? I don't think they would.
You have to have a backbone and do that.
Schulz says blatantly, like, I don't want to say...
Schulz for the last 5 years has toted the line.
I was gonna say he's toted the line. Yes,
he went from I'm gonna tell these jokes to make everybody laugh, but I'm gonna say borderline jokes that almost is gonna get you. It's gonna make you like, should I be pissed in this moment or should I laugh?
Yeah, well, and I don't. To be fair, I don't know as much about Alex in that department because I haven't seen him interact a lot. I don't think he gives a lot of pushback. I certainly know that Charlemagne doesn't give any pushback because Charlemagne to me is kind of like, and that's the same thing with Alex too, is that both of them seem to, I'm not saying they're riding on his coattails because they both have their own successes in their own regards, but I don't see a lot of pushback from either of these guys. And I've heard Schulz make jokes. I feel like it is that thing too where it's like, we have a relationship where we can joke, but we're also serious.
Right.
So if you say something like, hey, how's the mayo doing? How's the quinoa salad doing? Mm-hmm. I could pull you aside and be like, all right, listen, not all of us eat quinoa. Mm-hmm. All right. I enjoy mayo, but like, I like to, you know what I mean? I like to have it with this. I like to have it with that. This is the same way that if I say like, oh, Ev, like, are you going to like go back to Baltimore and go to the hood? You know what I mean? Like, you can put me aside and be like, all right, Coop, like, I don't live in the hood. Like, not all black people live in the
right.
And I'd be like, oh, yeah. But, I don't think that they have that type of relationship specifically because Andrew Schulz, that's the thing I hate about a lot of comics because I worked with comics when I was back in New York for a brief time. All of them have this stupid thing that they do where anything you get offended by, dude, I was just joking. It was a joke, bro. It was a joke. And if you can't get, and we'll get into, I don't know if you saw Andrew Schultz's reaction to the Shits and Gigs apology. Dude, nobody's going to get mad at you for a blatant joke, bro. Nobody's going to get mad at you for that. Comedians always have this thing where they have that fallback mechanism where they can just say, well, I was just joking, dude. I was just joking.
Because they have that label of comedian. They can say it. They think in their brain they can say any outlandish thing and then hide behind the fact that you're a comedian.
Dude, and that's the thing is I don't think, and I'm sorry, I just want to, I don't think that Charlemagne or Alex maybe more so, has that relationship with him.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Charlemagne, I don't think, can check him because there is a culture of jokes going on. Because Charlemagne is an entertainer in his own right.
I'm going to be honest with you. I looked at the comments, and the first thing people said
they were frying him?
No. The first thing that people said wasn't Andrew because there's a certain demographic of people that expect Andrew to act that way. Some people were looking at the comments going, oh, look at the black man sitting there snickering and laughing, not checking Andrew on the show. Yeah. They were looking at Alex snickering and laughing, not checking Andrew and being like, Andrew, like you do realize that black women get this stereotype put on them that they're loud, they're enraged, and all they want to do is fight. You do understand that. Like, if I was, like, and granted, we can get into they're afraid to say something for whatever reason because of status or success that Andrew has, maybe. I don't know. But I don't know the inner workings of what is going on and how they run that production. But somebody, and I hope somebody, whether it's Charlemagne, Alex, or somebody else, pulls him aside and goes, yo, bro, like.
At this point, I don't even think that would work. Because he's made, like, dude, think about it. He's made millions of dollars making this type of content. Well, you're going to say that I'm offending black women? Oh, Alex, take a break. I think he already made Alex take a break for a couple pods. He pulled a Joe Budden on him. Remember that? I remember Alex not being on there for a couple pods over something. It was like a money dispute. I can't remember, but I wish I could bring it back to mind. He could easily just say, like, all right, bro, you don't want to do that. Like, boom.
You can do all that all you want to, and you can stroke your ego. You can make power plays all you want to. But like we have seen the past couple weeks with you know who, you can do that, but it's going to come back to bite you later. That's what I mean. The best people, the best successful people have a circle around them that checks them.
Yeah.
Perfect example. Our circle.
Our circle, you said?
If you look at our circle of who we work with,
9
times out of 10, who you think's checking people? Who you think is probably the quickest to check somebody if something goes left?
You or Ben, I feel like.
Okay, facts. Okay, so if me and Ben are not there, don't you think that some stuff could fall through the cracks and not get checked?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Somebody needs to be going around and checking these people.
Who though?
It's got to be somebody that's not afraid. Look, it's got to be somebody that has a backbone, not afraid of losing position,
Maybe Alex
not
doesn't
afraid
even care.
of losing success. Then that's a problem.
Yeah,
if that's the case, then that's a problem.
Because here's the thing: is if you're Alex, you're Charlemagne, you're making millions of dollars with this guy. Fucking, dude. Why should I say anything? Why should I say? And I'm not saying that I agree with that sentiment, but that'd probably be along the lines of what they say.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. And this is I'm gonna take there just for a second. This is not bashing those brothers because we don't know what happened behind the scenes. We don't know if he got checked already.
Could be.
Now I'm gonna say this: when Charlemagne went through the stuff and got fired from a bunch of radio stations and was trying to figure it out, guess who was supportive? The wife that he is with, who's a black woman.
Yeah.
When Alex was overseas, I guess he was
in
with
jail or something, in prison.
Yeah, when he was there, I remember specifically there were comments supporting Alex. Guess who some of those supporters were? Black women.
Yeah.
You can't disrespect somebody that is your biggest supporter and that understands what you go through as an African American in society.
To be fair, we know that Charlemagne, his biggest supporters. We don't know how many African American women or black women that Alex has in their family. Like that's the thing, and we will get to the Shits and Gigs podcast. But we know for a fact that the Shits and Gigs, which is what makes their apology and doing what they did, I think, just like Weasley, or even more Weasley, is we know that a lot of black women go to them and kind of view them. The way someone described it, a friend of mine, she described it as they're our safe space most of the time, where we can go and we feel like we're not going to get trashed on, and it's not full of white people.
Boy, using them for a rude awakening.
Yeah, and listen, okay, they laughed at some jokes. They came out with a terrible apology. That's my main thing. Is the apology was bad because there was even some points where they looked uncomfortable with what Schulz was saying, and I could understand if you get caught up in the moment, right? You're just having a conversation, whatever. But when you pair it with some of the stuff that's come out, it just, to me, it seems less so that I don't think they hate black women.
No, I'm not gonna go that far.
I think they're being a little bit careless with maybe not understanding who their core demographic is.
You just got to read the room.
You got to. That's the thing is you can't, go on when your main fan base seems to be a large majority of black women. When your main content type is safe comedy is the way it's been described. I haven't listened to much of their stuff, but it's kind of Cody Co until recently. But that type of bread and toast or toast in milk type of stuff, you're gonna go on one of the most flagrant, not to make a joke, podcasts where the head of the podcast is kind of well known for trashing black women and making edgy jokes. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And to come out with that apology, fight or flight, bro, come on. I'm not asking you to turn the set upside down and be dude, that's it. But just be bro, are you serious?
All you have to do is, okay, so you want to know how I would check them?
Yeah, I'll be Schulz. Ready?
Okay.
Black women are stressing and they'll hit you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Andrew, we don't disrespect black women like that. You have to understand from a culture standpoint, black women are the most disrespected in this country.
Alex, clip this.
Black women are also
This is gonna be nice
pegged.
controversy.
Also, black women are pegged as enraged, violent, and inherently dangerous. That joke is uncalled for towards black women. We cannot. I don't really subscribe to that. I don't find it funny.
Or even, it's something that even is less of a. You want to say you want to take into account the podcast who's hosting you. You could just say, man, come on, don't do that. Don't don't make those jokes. It's overplayed. It's really not true. It's not. There's we could do better stuff than that.
Right.
And then that keeps it I like what you said, very well articulated, and all the points that you made were facts. But I'm saying even if they were concerned with not holding up the podcast, there is a more refined way and a quick way that they could have said, all right, I'm not laughing at that.
And
At the very least, don't laugh at it.
Look, but Andrew would have talked right over him. But when you
Yeah,
say
Andrew,
ho,
yeah.
ho, when you go ho, 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 and then you put that serious, you see how I put that serious tone? Like, we not doing that?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I don't give a crap if it's your show. You not going to come on, you not in my space. Yeah, we on your show, but you are within my circumference. So when you around me, we not disrespecting black women, period. We have to take it to that level because for far too long, we have made it comfortable. Some of us, not all of us, some of us have made it very comfortable to disrespect black women.
Yeah.
So how I would come at that with a certain level of authority, I would come at that with a certain level of authoritation that as somebody who was raised by a black woman, honored by a black woman, and also nurtured by a black woman, I'm not about to sit over here and hear you spew that rhetoric to an audience that deep down, some of them, not all of them, might believe that to a degree.
Well, it's not even that. Like, if because I'm Jewish, and like if someone was saying, "Man, Jewish women, Jewish moms, blah 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 blah," it would, that to feel like it wouldn't trigger you at least to say like, "Wow, yeah, this is potentially my mom that this guy is talking about."
Mm-hmm.
Like I think again, it doesn't speak to the fact that they hate black women.
I don't think that they.
I think that they're just kind of like spineless and don't really care about what they say or what they do or what effect their stuff might have. And it's like, dude, you got like this community of people that trust you enough to listen to your stuff, and this is the space where they don't have to get hassled about being aggressive, and it's two black dudes, so they can kind of like there's a cultural understanding there. I mean, obviously there's different cultures within it, but within that scope, I should say. But like overall, there's an understanding of the experience. I'd imagine, I'm a white guy, that connects those viewers to the Shits and Gigs podcast, and then for them to go on that show and then kind of just laugh at it, it's just like, it seems to me to be really disingenuous, and it'd be like me laughing at Jew jokes if I had a Jewish-centered podcast. I was going to say Jew-centered podcast, but that sounds a little bit derogatory. Jewish-centered podcast. Like, to me that, like those guys don't have much constitution. I think they got on a bigger platform. I think they didn't want to make ruckus, and in the end, they kind of favored a bigger scope over actually upholding their values.
Yeah, I definitely get that, man. Well, appreciate you for coming through once again. This has been another edition of Audio Airstrike. I appreciate you guys for listening. We're going to hit you guys with another episode next week. Until then, take care.
See y'all soon.